this video, we're going to be answering, did a war really start over a bunch of cows? And with statements that are spoken by the likes of Julius Malema, that sounds something along the lines of something like this.
And said, we will not sit down and watch the Afrikaner apartheid regime killing our people in South Africa. That's why we have our freedom today. We are here to extend the same favor to the children of Palestine.
Now, this was after the entire attack that happened in Palestine. And Julius and the media and a lot of people were backing Palestine over Israel. Now, they did this, they spoke about this, but I asked a question in the beginning. Did the war start over cows? What do you think? That's the subject we're going to have today. Now, I remembered that, hey, you know what? I promised that at least once a week, I'll cover a prophecy subject that filters itself into the end time. And I remembered, hey, it's been almost 2 weeks since the last episode. So last week, we did not have a prophecy episode. This one is also jam-packed. The last episode we did, we were talking about some articles that came out showing that some Israeli activists are now making efforts to start being allowed to pray on the mountain, which was prohibited for the longest time. Today we are asking the question, did a war really start over cows? We don't even have to guess, because if you don't remember, let's start here.
The war started after Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th, killing almost 1,200 people and taking nearly 230 hostage, some still in captivity. Despite the deadly outcome across the region, one trigger for the Hamas rampage has been widely overlooked.
Notice what they said. This is CBS. They said there's one detail that a lot of people overlooked. Okay. So there was something else that we probably missed. Okay. Interesting. Let's go back there and continue.
Chris Livesay has the story from Jerusalem.
The infamous October 7 massacre that...
Now, I'll come back to these scenes and what you are seeing here, or what started off and how they attacked Israel and all that kind of stuff. But there is a video that they show and display there that's very important, which was a speech that was made by some of the Hamas people on what exactly triggered them.
In a recent speech, a Hamas spokesman blamed the Jews for bringing red cows to the Holy Land. The cows he's...
Yeah, that's the reason. Cows. Cows. How dare they bring cows? Now you'll be wondering, what kind of cows are these?
He's talking about at a secure, undisclosed location are these red heifers, to be precise. Some Jews and Christians believe they're the key to rebuilding the historic Jewish temple in Jerusalem.
Now, that might sound wild to you. And we'll get back to why the red heifers are very important and all that. But I thought the most important piece out of it was an interview that they did with one of the guys that was heavily working behind getting these heifers back and back to the America, because they had to export this. These things are very hard to get and stuff like that. Now, it's the shock. Wait. It's the shock in his face when he is asked if this is a joke. This is what he had to say.
After a long research, we find in Texas.
In Texas?
Yeah, Texas, United States of America.
Texas Red Angus, flying them 7,000 miles to Israel.
This is not a publicity stunt.
What do you mean?
Now, understand something. This is so real to him, or this stuff is so important to them. To the Western world, this is foolish. What? Y'all had to fly cows from Texas all the way to Israel? You had to pay all this money just to export a bunch of cows? And he says, this is not some stunt. The guy is perplexed. He's confused. Wait. You actually serious? You brought cows. You exported cows. He's shocked. And the gentleman says, dude, you don't get it. No, we're serious. That's poetry right there. That just...
In Texas.
Yeah, Texas, United States of America.
Texas Red Angus, flying them 7,000 miles to Israel.
This is not a publicity stunt.
What do you mean?
Meaning, this is something you take very seriously.
Harry Potter is a good story. The Bible is not story. The Bible is a way of God to lead us.
So then they go on to kind of like show the intentions with the whole thing. Now you remember last time when we did the last episode, we highlighted in that episode that they were already preparing the altar for it. So now in this particular clip or interview, they actually show you the altar that has been prepared.
A massive altar already awaits, where the heifers are to be burned.
According to some believers, the ceremony needs to be performed right here on the Mount of Olives. Look.
So looking over the temple, basically, looking over the Temple Mount. Now, remember, there was that clip where they said Israel brought a bunch of cows. Why? Because they understand when they try to get a hold of these cows, there's a history behind it. There's a history behind trying to have these cows. And it comes from here.
Temple in Jerusalem, and to beckoning the Messiah. To understand, you have to go back nearly 2,000 years when the ancient Romans destroyed the last temple in the city. To rebuild it, these believers point to the Bible's book of Numbers. It commands the Israelites to sacrifice a red heifer without defect or blemish, and that has never been under a yoke. Only then can the temple rise again.
So that's it right there. You see, the heifer had to be a specific cow. Never carried a yoke, nothing. It must be free of blemish. That's why they had to go so far. There's been entire documentaries that have been made on those cows. Yeah. Yeah, here, listen to foolish people claiming to be Israelites. All these people, so-called prophets, Abu Kirian, whatnot, all these people undermining the true Jews in Israel and saying, oh yeah, we are the true Jews, we are the true Jews. All these purple-clothed people from America, us black Hebrew Israelite people that don't take it, they don't even take it serious. These guys are exporting things. By the way, they are buying prime land in order for them to be able to do this. Okay? There was a particular spot that they bought not long back. There is an entire institution that has been put forward to make sure that this progress goes forward. On the last episode, I highlighted that they went to extreme lengths to even designing hubs and all these things there to find one particular guy who knows how to design them exactly the way they were in the Old Testament. These people take these things seriously. The replica Ark of the Covenant that they took to the US, to Mar-a-Lago, and then brought it back to Israel. That whole thing, these people take it very serious. Now you have a bunch of people, oh, we are Israelites, just sitting out here, just wanting to be Israel. The ones that are, we remove our eyes and then we start looking at all these dodgy people who are not okay upstairs. Notice, when these guys brought the cows, this triggered that thing that you saw in that video. It triggered this Hamas guys to say, we cannot allow them. How can they? Because they know That's what you did. You sacrificed the heifer when you were getting ready to build the temple. Now, bear in mind, this is not the government of Israel. These are the people that live in Israel. So it's not like Netanyahu said they can go and do this. No, it's the believers. It's the believers in Judaism who said, it's about time we find the heifers. So they started feeling threatened, as if something is going to happen. And when you live in this state of paranoia, that's why they did what they did. That's why they attacked on October, is to stop this. And by the way, even the way that they were doing it, the way that they were attacking people, the things that people don't understand. When you look at how Hamas, which is the organization in Palestine, it focuses so much on brainwashing children to become terrorists and people that are fighting and what and all this type of stuff. They have such a huge propaganda focused on children to brainwash kids. Things like this. You can see they are brainwashing kids to start having this mindset. Imagine you're a child, you're being taught that. Does Julius know about that? Does the Juliuses care about that? No, they don't. They just push agendas. That's it. That's all it is. It's just agendas. We are behind. And because they function under an antichrist spirit, what happens is that you become an enemy to Israel. You'll remember not long ago we spoke about the Israel wanting to perform the ritual for the red heifers. This article was not written far way back in August this particular year, right? So they are already getting ready, and you can see why did they start this after the cows? It's because these people have a very backwards mindset. When they think of the red heifers was there right at the time when the rebuilding of the temple, they think the Israelis are going to start trying to take over the mountain back. It's just fear mongering. That's all it is. Now, for people that have been supporting thingy, very recently there's been footage that has come out, leaked, showing how these people are torturing people. Crazy stuff that they released, that has been released lately, showing them. As a matter of fact, even the people in Palestine are tired. Yeah, the people in Palestine are tired of Hamas. You, when you are busy supporting Hamas and saying, yes, the Palestinians don't want Hamas, because Hamas is a terrible organization. They're very backwards. You hear, cows, how can they start a war over cows? They did. Because they're thinking about the biblical implication of it. They know the Bible for their own reasons. So when they saw Israel finally export these red heifers, they said, we can't allow that to happen. So now, listen to what the people are now saying about Hamas. This is what the media will not show. Right here.
بيقتلونا إرهابية حماس إرهابية قولوا يلا معاي حماس إرهابية حماس إرهابية الله يدعي منك يا سنوار الله يشحنك يا رب.
These ladies are in Palestine. They're in the Gaza area and so forth. And so they are now having to leave. You can see them carrying their stuff to get out. Because these guys, these terrorists, we've said this before, they set up their safety houses in the presence of people. They don't go and stay in the bushes like Boko Haram. They stay in the residence. So when Israel attacks those areas, People die because people are in that area. So people that don't understand Hamas strategy, they are perplexed by it. It's been an old strategy. It's not new. So why don't they ever talk about it? They can't. Rebellion. They have a spirit of rebellion. The people in you, while you are busy striking, that's why I said it was very sad to see Solimuhulu with that thing, but that's because they just watch whatever the media gives them without fully understanding. Listen to the people there.
The video showed IDF soldiers providing water and medical aid.
تخافيش يا خال تخافيش الله يرضى حماس واليوم اللي شفناهم فيه ذبحوهم ذبحوا حماس وقتلوهم وين ما رحتوا شفتوهم ذبحوهم يا نهار ابوهم ما بدناش اياهم يحلوا عنا.
A number of men on crutches explains how they were wounded.
كل هدول المشلولين اللي بشوف كلهم من حماس حاول افهم شيء إسرائيل يعني تسمح لهدول الشاحنات يفوتوا على شمال غزة بسرقوها حماس بيسرقوها
اظن ميت من الجوع احسن
امام عيونكم سرقوها
اظن ميت قدام علي قدام علي اذا تكلمت بطخوك وين بخطك بخطكش هان وين بطخها بطخش هان على اللحم بطخ عشان يشلك.
Many said they favored Israel.
ندوا حماس عن الوجود احنا معكم
انتوا معنا يعني انتوا مع اسرائيل
مع اسرائيل خيرنا منكم.
This lady was so passionate. She goes to even start hugging this guy and stuff like that because she's like, if only people understood. We don't want this need. We don't want these guys. And so she starts going wild.
The report also...
And so that's the thing that the media will not show you. You think SABC will show you that? Dodgy, man. The spirit of rebellion functions in them. They will never show you that. They will never show you these particular details because it will skew you up so that you lean towards Israel. First of all, the very same people, the Hamas guys, are the people that started the attack. And the thing that they never talk about is how they set up the attack. It was brutal. For example, I was watching this other documentary where they were showing how the area which was being attacked when there was a festival, you will see that area has one exit. Okay? And so these guys, what they did is they went in there and they used that one road. They just went and shot so that people would run out. When people ran out, they had nowhere to run. They started attacking the... Do you think they'll show you that? Do you think the media will show you that? No.
The road, they had to take the southern exit, middle exit, or a northern exit. And these exits proved to be clogged very quickly by Hamas, getting hold of the roads and just shooting at the cars or firing at them and clogging the exits. Moreover, those who did manage to escape in time just used the highway to head north, and many of them were killed on the road about 10 kilometers away from here. The Hamas was waiting for anyone on the roads.
They didn't care who. They didn't care. They were already on the road. So they went there, scared them off, and then so a few people got killed inside. But when they tried to get out, look at that road. The road, it's like something out of a movie because they were just standing on they didn't have to do nothing. They just stood on the road because there's one exit. The road gets clogged up. They just bam, 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 bam. Brutal, backwards people. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. And those are the people that people are out there supporting because they don't understand the tactics that these people are using.
Mostly for military reinforcement that was going to go to the kibbutzim, but anyone on the road was targeted by them.
And so these things, they don't get to show you this, or you never hear about this. As a matter of fact, they go to show the areas where most of these kids died, in Israel, they have these bunkers where people can go in and hide inside and stuff like that. And so they went to one of the sites where people were hiding, and Hamas knew they would be inside there. They were targeting civilians.
And we happened to come here when one of the survivors came for a visit. איפה קוראים לך, אחי?
גון.
איך?
גון.
דון?
גון עם גימל.
גון? גון מה?
שקד.
גון שקד.
הוא אמר שאין לו בעיה, גם בגלל שהוא מוצב, שאחותו תתרגם אותו.
אני יכול לתרגם.
הוא יכול לדבר.
He happened to be here. So we happened to be here when one of the people who survived the Nova is coming for a visit. I saw him coming out in tears because two of his friends died here inside.
So these things are like small little bunkers. If there's an attack, you hear a ring or a mortar is being sent out or a bomb or something, they hide into these things. And Hamas knew that they would hide in these things. So they just knew there'll be people in those things. They targeted them.
His name is Gon, and he miraculously managed to escape on the road. So many others were ambushed to death, but he actually made it. And this is his first time visiting this site 8 months later.
And so they set up their safety houses in there amongst the citizens. It destroys the cities. You have all these silly channels which run around. They go and capture the distractions and then show people living and saying, look at what Israel is doing. But they don't ever explain how it comes to that. They don't ever explain that these guys set up their safety houses in the middle of where people stay. When Israel takes people, the fight, it's away from where its citizens are. These guys go fight in the middle of where their thing is. The same way they target people. They target their own kids. They brainwash their kids to believe all these kind of things. And so as a result, what happens? It's a spiritual war. This entire thing is a spiritual thing. It wouldn't make sense. You started a war over cows, man. You started a war over cows. But now you can get why. It's because they are afraid of things. It's paranoia. Because you've been living all your life with all this thingy. Sterk Reality Show with the daily Christian commentary videos. And so that tells you how serious this stuff is. How we are inching straight into the end time, or the time frame of the end time, because of all these things that you see. And you can see it's things that when you look at, you'll be saying, but how? I'm telling you, these people are wild. When those cows, when those red heifers came into Israel, they started thinking, we're going to lose the mountain. We're going to lose the Alaska mosque, the mosque which is on the top of thingy. They thought, you know what, let's go over and just cause distraction. They started the attack, and they did by all means. They fought by all means to try and thingy, you know. I remember seeing one particular video which was showing how there was a particular group of soldiers that were trying to protect one of the last police stations in a certain area, and it's quite brutal what they did. But what you will hear, it's how Israel respond, but you will never hear about what exactly was the attack on. You will never hear about all these things. These are all religious and very much spiritual things. They will dismiss the spiritual aspect of it. They will dismiss, why? Because they can't deal with that. Carnal mind cannot comprehend. Sterk Reality Show, as I said. And I'll see you on later on episode. This one did take a minute. And so that's why you have it thingy. And it's been long overdue for me to actually compile this episode. I've been picking some of the ideas and gathering them up and stuff. But I hope this video was worth your time. And I hope it kind of showed you something that you just won't see. Anyhow, you just won't see anyhow. This is a very spiritual thing. If you were, I remember a friend of mine saw this entire war, And it strengthened his faith. All this while, he's just been, he's a Christian, that's it. This war strengthened his faith. When this happened, he was like, man, this is serious. So, y'all stay vigilant and stay watching. And remember, we are strangers in this world, not just in South Africa. We are strangers in this world. Christ said, if my kingdom was of this world, I would have told you. But he says, I go to prepare a place so that where I am, you may be also. It's Ricky. I'll see you on the next episode. Subscribe to the channel if it's the first one, and y'all have a good one.